Okay, this video is about the basketball player Jaden Ivey fired from the Chicago Bulls for criticizing LGBTQ. And I just want you to know this has nothing to do with LGBTQ. It has nothing to do with Jaden Ivey. It has nothing to do with all that. Those are all minor issues in terms of what's happening here. What this is really about is to understand it. The world is run by billionaire perverts, okay? And they're kind of like the Roman emperors. That's why everybody should study ancient Rome. And the Roman emperors, they had total power. You know, Rome went through three phases. First it was a monarchy, then it was a republic, then it was an empire. And the emperors, many would just declare themselves gods and have total power. Okay, well that's what's happening now. These billionaires that run the world, they want total power. They don't want any checks and balances on what they want to do. Some Roman emperors, they would insist on having a different woman in their bed every single day. Okay, if you give a guy total power, that's kind of what he wants. Whatever woman he wants, and he wants to maintain his power, okay? So they're going to do everything they can for that. When you hear people talk about feminism, that's done on purpose to feminize the country, destroy marriage, destroy the family, because that weakens the population. It's not because they think feminism is good for women. Feminism is terrible for women. It comes from Satanism. They just want it because it weakens the country, okay? The reason why they want atheism and Darwinism is when there's no God, then they have the right to do whatever they want to people. Then there's no morals. They don't want any morals. The reason they promote tribalism, they want everybody fighting and arguing, an ununified population, because then it's easier to crack down on them. They want mobbing because they don't want anybody to stand up for righteousness or anything. They want to just crush them down, okay? The cancel culture, that's what that's all about. They don't care about LGBTQ, the billionaires. They don't care about minorities or black people. They don't care about women. All that's BS. There's only one thing they care about. They care about getting rid of Christianity. This has been well known if you study history, like in the Soviet Union and other places. Christianity is the big obstacle to total control of a population, to slavery and everything. Because Christianity says everybody's equal in the eyes of God. Man's made in the image of God. God said, that what you do to the least of my brethren, you do unto me. They don't want that crap. They are gods and everyone else can shut up and do as they're told. And in order to get rid of it, they have to get rid of Christianity. They especially don't like white Christian men. The number one target. The reason why everybody is turned against white Christian men is because they are the ones who wrote the Declaration of Independence and obtained, freedom for, over 100 years in the United States, okay? Now, so they just feel if they can get rid of the white Christian man, everybody else in comparison is easy to get rid of. There's not that many of them. They're not that well organized. They don't have a moral setup that's going to be that powerful to handle. Women they think are a joke. They can just trick them with some emotional nonsense. Okay, so that's why the target of everything is the white Christian man. That's why everybody wants to get rid of the white Christian man, because he's the only thing keeping freedom going, okay? The Democratic Party is basically the American Communist Party, okay? Isn't it obvious, all right? Like I said, okay, so once Christianity's gone, then the billionaires will have total power over there. There'll be no morals, there'll be no rules. Like Dostoevsky had said, if there is no God, then everything is permitted, even cannibalism. Okay, when you abort a baby and you make it into medicines that people put in their mouth, that's cannibalism. Okay, you can call it whatever you want, but that's what it is. Some Roman emperors, okay, we talked about that. Jaden Ivey, this basketball player, he must be really good. He was getting paid like, I think, $10.1 million per year, and they're still going to give him the money, but he got fired. Apparently his wife, according to the video I saw about him, was not answering his text message, like she's getting ready to divorce him. And I think that's funny too. It's pretty routine that women leave the man as soon as the man loses his job. Okay. About 80% of divorces are filed by women. And, when a woman loses her job, the guy usually says, sweetheart, it's okay. He doesn't care about her job that much. I'll work extra. We'll make it work. When the guy loses his job, she's bye-bye. Okay, anyways, women tend to be very conformist. Whatever authority says, they'll do it. Look at the public schools. They're willing to castrate children with all this gender-affirming nonsense. They're willing to give children amphetamines. They don't protect children. It's sad, but they don't. They're easy to trick. Okay, women, let's see what else. The reason for all this stuff is they want to label the Bible as hate speech. If they can say somebody quoted the Bible and that's hate speech, boom, the Bible then becomes illegal. And once the Bible's illegal, Christianity is illegal. Once Christianity is illegal, then they can step up the persecution of Christians, get rid of all the Christians, especially the Christian white men. Okay, and once they're gone, what's to stop them from slavery? Like, they don't like Muslims, they don't like minorities, they just need them to try to turn them against the white Christian man, because once they can get rid of him, they figure they'll be easy to take care of them later. Okay, He's the only one that's a little bit of a challenge. Okay, and right now they're doing a pretty good job of getting rid of him. All the Western civilizations are all collapsing. And once they're all collapsed, it's going to be like Soviet Union, it's going to be like China's Mao, it's going to be brute force and a million rules, a rule about everything, okay? Because if you don't have a religion to unify the population and get them to behave, then you got nothing to hold them together. You're just going to have a bunch of squabbling ethnic groups and minorities, and they're going to be held in place with brute force. I mean, that's what's coming. It's so obvious. Slavery is going to come back. It already exists in most places. Okay, let's see. What else is there to say? That's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's what the game is really all about. You know, in Soviet Union, they killed 65 million Christians. Mao, what did Mao kill? I don't even know the exact number, like 100 million Chinese citizens, okay? That's what's coming in the future. It's obvious, okay? In Soviet Union, they burned down 48,000 churches. That's what's coming. It's obvious. And they're supporting the homosexual pedophiles that run the Catholic Church right now because they want bad priests. They want bad pope. They want a bad cardinals and leaders because they will destroy the church from the inside. Okay? So the real Catholic Church actually exists in people. It exists in people like me, who still try to teach you about the history of the church, the aesthetic beauty of the church, and a few other things, the apologetics through Case for Christ at Lee Strobel, things like that. But this is what's going on. So, speak up for Western civilization because you might not have it much longer if this all continues. But to me, this was a giant statement that they'd fire a $10.1 million player just like that. Because think about all the crazy things basketball players do. You hear all kinds of crazy stories about basketball players doing all sorts of things, and they don't get fired for it. The guy makes an Instagram video they find offensive, he's fired. Ireland is being genocided. No one cares. Nobody's trying to fire the secular leaders in Ireland that are genociding the Irish people, or genociding the French people, or genociding the Italian people, or any other Western country. No one cares. Because they want those countries genocided. Oh, well, I hope freedom will last in the world. I hope it's not over for civilization and Christianity. But anyways, this was a full court press to destroy Christianity. They don't care about this guy. They don't care about any of this stuff. That's what they care about, is destroying Christianity. That's the purpose of all this.